Number 20 from the review packet is another double trig problem, but it's a word problem. So, a lot of layers to this problem. First thing we got to recognize is that there's this extra 1.5 feet we're going to have to take off the 112. Okay, so I'm going to draw a couple new right triangles here. From the top of the lighthouse to the sea level, to that first boat that's close to the cliff. Okay, a couple things are happening here. There's a little bit extra. Okay, so the angles that are happening are to the front of the boat. There's another extra 1.5 feet underneath, right? So we're going to take the 120, take away a 1.5 feet to get 110.5. So the side of the triangle we're going to work with is 110.5. So we're going to be a little careful there. Now, this angle is 6 plus another 49. So this is 55 degrees, is the total angle of depression, which is, since line of sight is parallel to the sea, ground level, whatever you want to call it, this is also 55. So this is the opposite leg to the 55, and this is the adjacent leg to the 55. All right, we're not going to bother using the hypotenuse, but there it is. So we're going to have a SOHCAHTOA problem. You can always use law of sines, but I'm going to use sine, cosine, or tangent. In this case, I'm going to use tangent. So it's going to be tangent of 55 degrees. It's going to be opposite over adjacent. Tangent of 55 is 1.4281 to 1. Now opposite is 110.5 and adjacent is, we don't know. Let's just call that A. All right, 1.4281A equals 110.5 times 1, cross multiply. So divide by 1.4281, and we get A is 77.37 and some other stuff there. All right, same problem, same kind of tricks, but the boat's further out. Okay, this angle, instead of 55, is only 6 degrees, I think. Yes. 6 degrees. Again, we still have that extra 1.5 feet. So instead of 120, it's, oh, sorry, instead of 112, it's 110.5. All right. So the triangle we're working with has a 110.5 as the opposite of this 6, and then this leg is adjacent. We're going to call it B. All right, so tangent, sorry, here's why. Okay, it's opposite and adjacent I'm going to work with, so tangent of 6 degrees, that's equal to 110.5 over B. Tangent of 6 is 0.10510 to 1. And now we're going to cross multiply to get 110.5 equals 0.10510B. Divide by that, and I get 1,051.337. Okay, so now, let's see, this is interesting. Average speed, it took us, let's see, feet per minute is what we want. It was 5 minutes. All right, so first we'll get the distance, then we'll convert it to feet per minute. Everything's in feet. Okay, so just checking that. So the change in x, we'll call it x, is going to be 1051 minus 77. So the change in x is 973.96, but they want the answer in feet per second. All right, So here's what I do with this. Um, I have 973.96 feet in 5, oh, they want minutes, feet per minute. So it took me 5 minutes to go that far, 973.96 feet. Okay. We want to go per minute, so we want to know 1 minute. So it's going to be x feet per minute. Now, most of you probably would have figured out to divide the proportion just tells us what to do, for sure. So 5x is that times 1, so 973.96 divided by 5. So in case you thought it was divide, now this verifies it for you. It's definitely divide. There's 195 now feet per minute. So there it is. Okay, the last one, okay, has several parts. Geometric mean. Okay, that's the same as saying the mean proportional. So we might see either terminology. I'm not sure which one we're going to see. So 4 and 100 would be considered your extremes. So when I design a proportion, if I have my choice, I put my extremes, what I call the first and last positions. And these are the middle two. The extremes need to get multiplied together, because you want to get the lowest and the highest multiplied together to equal out the middle or the means. Now, when it's geometric mean, these are the same. So that's why if they're unknown, we call them both x. So that's the mean proportional or the geometric mean. So now we will cross multiply x times x, 4 times 100. Okay. Now, some people probably taught you this shortcut, multiply and square root, but I think it's important to know why. All right, so 20 is the geometric mean for 40 or 4 and 100. For 6 and 8, it's somewhere in between 6 and 8. Okay, but it's not the average. It's the proportional mean. A little bit of difference. So same setup. 6 and 8 are your extremes. I like to put them diagonally, and the means are between them diagonally. So 6 or x times x will equal 6 times 8. X squared is 48. Square root both sides. It doesn't say simplest radical form, but they're probably going to ask for that. That's a little under 7, just under 7. It'll be 4 root 3 if they ask you to simplify it, but since they didn't, I'm just going to leave it like that. Okay, tricky problem, especially because they're using the wrong letters when I did this one. So it's right triangle CAT, where T is the right angle. All right, why don't we make this, make this A and this C. All right, a little tricky. So if they tell us sine A equals 12 over 13, you could figure out the angle, but you don't have to. Here's what that's saying. The side, because sine is opposite of hypotenuse. So 12 is opposite A, 13 is the hypotenuse. So we don't do many problems that way, but that's another way to look at it. So if they're talking about the sine ratio of A, if they tell us what the sine ratio is, they're telling us opposite A is 12 and opposite the right angle, which is the hypotenuse, is 13. Now, for cos A, we need this angle, or I'm sorry, this side. So we could use Pythagorean theorem. We'll call it x. So x squared plus 12 squared equals 13 squared. Some of you know that it's 5 because you know your triples, Pythagorean triples, but the rest of us have to solve for it if we haven't memorized, which is okay. Just slows us down a little bit. So x is 5. All right, so this is 5 now. So cos of A is adjacent over hypotenuse. So that's going to be 5 over 13. Now sine of B, there is no B, I'm assuming they mean sine of C. So let's just assume they mean sine of C for a minute. That would be opposite over hypotenuse. So 5 over 13 is the fraction they're looking for sine C. Okay, 5 over 13. Cos C. Cos C is adjacent over hypotenuse, which is 12 over 13. Now, area of the triangle. Now, because it's a right triangle, it's 1/2 base times height. So 1/2 times 12 times 5 is 30. And that's all for the Chapter 7 review packet. Good luck to everybody on the test.